I'm so tired of this, especially when you really take a look at what they're doing. They're doing this literally for checking boxes and for virtue signaling points. And I really hate using those specific words because it's kind of overplayed, but they're literally doing that because here's this sloppy seconds for you. You're going to like that, aren't you? Take that because that's all you're worth is a sloppy seconds. Same thing now with the Snape thing. You got to swap him because reasons, where they literally have this description of him as being pasty white in the books, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what are you doing? Nobody asked for this. And you know what's the worst part about this, Teresa? Is the fact that when they do this, we'll have people, which it really annoys me a little bit because we'll have people on either side, right? You have the people who are all pro this, you have the people who are against it. And the ones that really annoy me the most is the people who are against it. It's because they forget that there are a lot of black people who didn't really want this crap either. And they'll sit there like, oh, you guys, it's basically paint this broad picture like we wanted this. Like, no, this is a corporation thing. They didn't ask Dmajini that I needed to see somebody, that I need to see myself as a character. Peter Parker is my favorite superhero. And he was, by the way, Peter Parker is Spider-Man and Miles Morales is Miles Morales. But Peter Parker is my favorite superhero. It has nothing to do with him being white or whatever. First off, his characters is cool. And second off, the reason why I like Peter Parker as Spider-Man is because he was a geek. He was a nerd. That's what I was attracted to because I was a geek and a nerd. It had nothing to do with him being white. I could care less if Peter Parker was white. But at the same time, that's what he was. So this whole concept of them saying that we need or we have to see some representation on screen for us to feel some kind of way is stupid, it's lazy, it's pandering, and I'm tired of it.
I feel your pain because when I was a kid, I loved Star Wars, and of course, I love Princess Leia. But man, Luke Skywalker. Now, I am not a white man who's a farmer. You know what I mean? I love him as my hero. Han Solo was my hero. I am not Harrison Ford. I was a little girl, and I loved Superman. You know, you don't have to see yourself in a character to enjoy it. And you said it better than I could. I love rants because I was getting fired up. I'm like, damn it, you're right. I mean, and the pandering, I think, is the part that kills me. Like, they're all going to be sitting there patting themselves on their back. Oh, look 100%. At us. We're so progressive. We're so charitable. Look at us.
Oh. And you know what's the worst part about this, Sue? What's going to end up happening is we know the same song and dance is going to happen. Everybody who says, hey, this is not right, they're going to be, if they just so happen to have not enough pigmentation in their skin, they're going to be like, oh, you're istophobe. But no, that's not how the character is. You have to understand, when you have a visual medium, and now granted, the books are not necessarily a visual medium, but they describe the character. Most books, any really good book is going to describe the character, right? They're going to do that because that's how they want to immerse you into that world, right?
Yep.
And again, in the case of Snape, they have she drew pictures of him basically, right? That, as far as I understand, like I said, I never read the books, but she drew pictures of him. So he's not only described as a pasty white male, but he's drawn as the pasty white male. So you have that visual medium that you need to stick by. And again, what does this prove by changing the character? What does it prove? Again, what is going to end up happening is you're going to have, it's almost like it's on purpose, really. I'm not even going to say it's almost like, it is on purpose. What this does is that it keeps the masses going at each other. Because even though it's something small as a Harry Potter show, what this ends up having is, again, like I said, you're gonna have if you're a Caucasian male or woman, you're an istophobe. If you're black or brown, you're a sellout. It's the same thing, right? If you say, hey, that character's not the way it is in the comic books or on a book or whatever, you are somehow the bad person. How about the bad person? That's how it was. You, so many people have said this before. If you bought a property for X amount of $1 million, and you bought this at the with the hopes of making that money back, and it has that built-in fan base specifically because of that particular story, why would you change it? What is the reason for you changing it?
Yeah.
That's like making, and it's not a swapping thing, but it's like literally making, like you mentioned Luke Skywalker. That's like making one of the most hopeful persons in the galaxy, someone who went out of his way, who was willing to die to protect and turn his homicidal maniac father, a genocidal, homicidal maniac father, because that's what Anakin was.
Yeah.
And he was willing to turn him back to the light side, but his nephew had a bad dream, so, I'm going to wipe him out. That is, it just, I'm sorry. I
know. I'm getting mad too.
But it just drives me crazy because we have the same situation over and over again, and it rinses, repeats. And a lot of the problem too, again, like I said, it keeps this stupid pigmentation conversation going, which is the most ridiculous thing. Like I even said, not only is my great grandmother, was she Irish, right? I have Japanese, I have white, I have Native American, I have black, all of my family. So I'm the type of person where I see people using this divide stuff, I'm like, it drives me crazy. It really does, because we are all human beings. At the end of the day, we all love, we all bleed, we have, we can, multiply, all that stuff can happen because we're all human beings. And they keep trying to keep a divide with us. And even the small things like TV shows, movies, is still a ploy to keep us divided. And don't get me started on the actual real life scenarios as far as politics, because that is a freaking joke. I'm just going to say this, and I know it's totally off topic. I just got to get this off my chest.
Go for it. You're welcome. You have
I remember there was a time when I grew up, the first president I can remember was Ronald Reagan. I was born when Jimmy Carter was the president, but I was a baby. But Ronald Reagan was the first president I remember, right? And from that point on, like, I was like, hey, that's the president, whatever. It's only now that it's like such a divide with just having a president, right or left. The president is not United States of the right and United States of the left. It's the United States. If you don't like it, hey, you can leave. But listen, we are still in the greatest country in the world. Okay, we just are. If it wasn't, nobody would want to be coming here. Just that simple. But I remember I'm just so tired of dividing with people in general, and it's just getting tired. I'm so tired of the divide with everything. Can we just, I want to be kind of corny, but can we just get along? You remember that one?
Oh, yeah, Rodney King.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Everything is to divide us. I found myself arguing with a family member today, and we actually agreed, but everyone is just so uptight. This person was arguing with me. I'm like, I am actually agreeing with you, but it's just like everything is so divisive, and they know what they're doing. It's like they know this big powder keg that we're living in, frankly, of their creation, the popular culture's creation, in cooperation with politicians, all of this stuff. And they thought, here's a nice grenade I'm going to throw into the middle of it. And you know what? If people have an emotional reaction, we're going to say it's your fault. Ugh. It's like, no, you threw the grenade. We didn't. We're just trying to enjoy something.
I think it was somebody put a clip. I don't remember where I saw it, but I think it was on the Joe Rogan show. And he had a guy. Matter of fact, it wasn't Joe Rogan. It was just a clip that Joe Rogan showed, I believe. And he had a professor. And he said, you could put fire ants or black ants inside a glass jar, and they'll be fine. Nobody, the ants won't do anything. But if you shake up that glass, they'll try to kill each other. And that really is such a powerful analogy for humans in general, right? We're all on this blue rock together. And it's just the powers that be just keep shaking up that freaking rock just to have us go at each other's throat. And it's just so tiring.